Hello, everyone. Welcome to the newest episode, episode 11 of Shooting the Shelf. I thank you all for being here. I see Curtis and Rich watching in the chat already. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining me tonight. Yes, it has been a busy week and a lot going on, but I'm happy to be back on the shelf with a very special guest who's waiting. But I won't keep him waiting very long. I'm just going to do a quick plug for myself here. I did launch a Patreon this week for anyone who would like to support me in that way. Pretty low basic tiers if you are interested in doing that. Um, that would be really cool, and I'll be using that any of that support to help upkeep the equipment and the StreamYard and all that, and maybe down the road do some prizes and stuff to help with giveaways and all that. So it is definitely not going to be a make a living off of it kind of a thing. So if anyone wants to check it out, my Patreon is just Shelve it. I forgot to get a link ready. I apologize. So thanks for joining me tonight. Yes. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring on my special guest this week. My original guest was unable to come on this week, and Mike jumped in as my I don't know sports analogies. I was going to make a sports analogy. And it was probably the wrong thing. So I'm just going to bring on Mike, who has graciously decided to join me tonight. So welcome to the shelf, Mike. How's it going tonight, sir?
Good. Thank you so much for having me, Jesse. Can you see me?
I can see you and I hear you.
Nice. I cannot see you at all, but we still can do this.
You
As
can't
long
see. Oh man.
Oh, that's okay. It's okay. Hey, we know what's up with me and technology. So this is this is to be expected. Now, I
Okay.
do believe I'm pinch hitting. Maybe we can
Pinch
use
hitting.
a
There we go.
baseball term. So,
Yes.
I once again thank you so much for having me on. I am excited, and there's nowhere I'd rather be than talking legions with you, my friend.
Me as well. I don't know if since you can't see me, you probably can't see the comment that got brought up, but Trevor has commented in all caps, "Foster your rules" with the rock horn. So,
Nice.
and
Cool.
Curtis is saying, if Mike's on the show, does that mean we're going to have technical difficulties? And no, we've already had them, and we've moved on.
Yes, I'm the only one having technical difficulties, but you guys can't help, so we'll go on from there.
Yes, I will say this: like StreamYard, I don't know what I've done, but there's every time when I start up at the beginning, um, the other people can't hear me, and I set my settings up and configure them the same way every time, and I don't know what the deal is, but we're here, we're going. So
Let's do it.
all right. Um, so I know you from the Cabal, and I got to meet you in person a little over a month ago for the first time at PowerCon, and discovered we were actually at Legion's Con last year, but I didn't know anybody, so I probably walked right past you a couple times at some point, but I had no idea who anybody was, so it was all just strange faces and a massive, awesome crowd. So um, it's great to talk to you again.
Yeah, I mean, wow, Legion's Con last year was absolutely amazing. It was for me, it was like life altering. And I've said this before on the Legion's Lair, but I can say it again. I've been in law enforcement for about 24 years. I have 3 years to go. So I'm looking forward to finally starting the next chapter of my life away from that negativity. And by
Okay.
negativity, I do mean I'm around 2% of the population that people really don't want to be around. I have to deal with them on a daily basis and they don't like me. So that's really my interactions when it comes to people, on a daily basis. When I come home, it's just me here. That's by choice because I enjoy that. Peace of mind, first and foremost, you can't put a price tag on that. And when I'm alone, I don't get bitched at. I can make my own decisions. I just enjoy that. So I have to have some sort of positive outlook. And are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. This is great. So if you guys can hear me and see me, correct?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Then I don't know what my phone's doing, but we won't care about that. So some positivity into my life, when I got into the Legions line and I found this community.
Oh, hold that 1 second, Mike. Hold that 1 second. I'm gonna bump you out and bring you back in. Hold that 1 second, Mike. Hold bump you out and bring you back in. Hold on 1 second, Mike. Hold on. Bump you out and bring you back in. Oh. Are you there? Oh. Hello? Oh, man. Curtis, why'd you say it? Why'd you say anything? There we go.
How's that?
There we go.
And we can see you this time. So
all right.
Let me just get fast so we can continue with the show. So
no, go ahead.
Bringing some positivity in, the Legions community is second to none with that, and they're like second family, and it really has been life altering for me because now I get that positivity into my life. So it's been really cool.
Excellent. No, yeah, the Cabal is great, and yeah, it's totally changed my life as well. So absolutely. Curtis is saying thanks for all you do. Yeah, Brian's out there, Dan, Skeletor, Dioforge. And you say, so yeah, I also live alone. So it's nice getting home. Before the show, you were saying you were in the toy room and just being zen, and like like I've been rearranging stuff this weekend, clearing out some other stuff. So it's nice to be done with that and just kind of like relax and get into this conversation and stuff. So, yeah, because my whole apartment is my toy room. If you remember from the Lair episode.
yeah, and that is sweet. Mine is just down in my basement. Now I have quite a big basement, and half the basement is the toy room, so it's pretty big. And I love it. And I am getting blessed with the fact that my son is moving back in. He's going to move back in a month or so.
Okay.
Primarily so he can live here for free and save money up to buy land and then build. So
cool.
He's doing it right. Yeah. So that's going to be definitely a positive thing because what he wants to do, he loves gaming and he knows I love action figures. So he wants to do the game with us, Mythic Legions Tactics, to do the game.
Oh, cool.
We're going to set his big system up here. And also the nice thing about that is he's techie, where his dad is not. So, that must bring some techiness into my life. So.
Excellent. Yeah, every time I see you encounter the tech issues, I just think of Dr. Grant in the first Jurassic Park movie.
That would be me, man.
Got Skeletor saying here he's drilling over your Ewok Village playset in the back there.
Yeah. That's my Star Wars. I put it to where the big wall is showing, so it kind of covers the background. But I have my Motu back there, which I hold dear to my heart. I'm early 80s, late 70s. I have my Transformers and my Star Wars. Those were my big lines growing up. And
Okay.
then I was out of, I would have been out of toys probably about 85, the first year of Transformers. So I was into that Transformers that year, and then I would say I was going into my teens, and then
Okay.
so Turtles and all that, Thundercats, I didn't get into.
Okay. And I can't remember how did you get into Legions?
Oh man, uh, well, I was writing. I love the the first year of Motu. The first 8 figures, you had Castle Grayskull, you have Battle Cat, you have the Wind Raider, and you have the Battle Ram. That was the Apocalyptic Eternia was my jam, man. I loved that. The first 4 mini comics that were packed with the figures, I couldn't get enough of, and they were drawn by Alfredo Acala, who we have lost. He has died. He died quite a long time ago, and Donald Blue, uh, which he's still with us. But it was such a barbaric world, an apocalyptic world that I just loved. And it wasn't like the filmation uh, that was silly. It was lighthearted. This was dark and gritty. And I was 8 at the time, so I just loved that. I was a little older, so I ate that up. And when I remember when the Filmation cartoon came out, I was so disappointed. I was like, this is not my love. This is not my toy line. As an 8-year-old boy, I was like, what is this? You know, Skeletor in the old mini comics was a demonic, psychopath who wanted nothing more to control all of Eternia and kill He-Man. Okay, Beast Man was a loyal brute who was savage, and Merman was a cunning, uh, cunning warrior who wanted nothing more than to take Skeletor's power. Merman wasn't this coward. Beastman wasn't this goofy oaf that Filmation portrayed, and Skeletor sure wasn't the clown that he's portrayed on with Filmation. So long, trying to make the story a little bit shorter here.
No, go ahead.
I wrote conclusions to the mini comics, 3 mini comics myself,
Okay.
and I wanted to take pictures to flesh out pictures with each page, but I didn't have characters to go along with my Motu classics that I have up on the shelf to do that. And what I did is I found out Four Horsemen made the classics, and then I found out they also made a current line called Mythic Legions. So I got a Skeleton Legion builder just to check it out to see if I could use any of those figures to finish my project. And
Okay.
when I got the Skeleton Legion builder in hand, I took it out of the mailer. It was still in package. And you got to understand, I've held a lot of action figures in my day, and I didn't even take it out of package. And I could tell instantly that this was the best action figure I've ever held in my hands. And it wasn't even out of the package. When I took it out of the package, started articulating it, started moving it, posing it, and all that, it blew me away 10 times more. And right then and there, I was like, I'm not going to put pictures to my project. I'm just going to leave the mini comics as they are, and I'm going to start collecting this line. And soon it developed into not only was I collecting the line, but it was the only line I was collecting because it is extensive. And man, when you get a Legions in hand and you hold another figure, it just you hold a Marvel Legends with the Legions. You don't want to look at the Marvel Legends. You
Yeah.
hold a Star Wars Black Series. with a Mythic Legions, you literally want to puke all over the black. You even hold a Motu Classic, forgive me, Horseman, up to your Mythic Legions, and you don't want to look at it anymore. It's that simple. And Mythic Legions is really an adult toy line for us adult collectors. It is dark, it is gritty, and the figures are absolutely gorgeous. The Horsemen
Yeah.
have taken a product and they have the perfect balance, Jesse, between articulation and sculpt with the paint apps. They look gorgeous. They are so worthy of the adult collector. It isn't funny, and at a phenomenal price point.
Yeah. Yeah. Mark saying Mythic Legion sets the bar high for sure. Like absolutely. Like I was saying earlier, I was clearing stuff out. Mainly just because space. I have so much stuff. And it's not that I don't like the other stuff I have anymore, but it's like I'm going to narrow these things down. I'm going to try to condense specific things. And Yeah, the Mythic Legions are definitely taking over. Like you said, the Cabal and the community changed my life. The toy line, you know, 43 years into life, and there are very few things that have impacted me as much as the community in this line of toys. Like it takes me back to feeling like a kid again. Like you were saying, you were gonna write your mini comic conclusions and use them to supplement that, but you fell in love with them so much that you've just completely shifted over to them. And um, yeah, I'm looking
And
around at all this stuff, and yeah,
Jess, that's a story that's reverberated throughout the Legion's line. I mean, I hear that story so much, and it is. I didn't know about this line till late. When I got my first in hand, I was blown away, and shortly thereafter, that they're only collecting Legion. I hear that.
yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I hear that story.
Like when I was first getting into it, like right around Legion's console, like right, it was actually right after Legion's Con, last year. I was buying other stuff that I thought I could like mix in with the line. So I got like the classics Adora, and I had a couple Masterverse and a couple other things. I'm like, oh, I can put them in. And now, like, I'm not like the elite purist where nothing can be non-mythic, but it's it needs to be more mythic than not. And like you were saying, like even though they did the classics, like Adora, like I just have her to be, she's gonna be like a villager or like a townsperson, like kind of in the background.
Yeah,
um and I think that she's great for that. But like the simplicity of her, like the filmation design that she has kind of in that, the one I have, it just doesn't carry over to like a standout character, even though the figure itself is very nice. um yeah, I'm 100% with you.
yeah, it is, and it like you find out in Legions, there's so many areas to go into. There's something for everybody. And if you don't want to collect the whole line, like yourself, Jess, the Fae, you go into Zylona's flock, that's your thing. And if you just want to collect them, that's very doable. If you just want to grab a faction. So it for me, the skeletons, the Mercurians, if I wanted to, I could have just collected them instead of the whole line and all that. So it's when people say that it's
Yeah.
I afraid to get into it, you don't need to be afraid because you don't have to go backwards. You can go forward and just collect what you like because there's let's put it this way, there's 10 factions with more to come out. If you ever seen the pins show three more factions. So there's plenty to collect now. There is no need for anybody to go backwards, and it's very affordable.
Yeah.
So, and that's a beautiful
Yeah,
thing.
I totally agree. Like I've gotten some stuff from the back catalog when I got into it. Well, I'm sorry.
What's that?
It's
I can't
Are you
myself.
still
I
there?
can't see any of the comments. Yeah, I'm still here, Jess. Can you hear me? I wonder. I can't hear any of the comments, so I can't tell if people watching can hear me or not.
I'm back. I don't know what happened. My Wi-Fi like completely dipped out and came back.
Okay.
Am I still there?
I don't know if it was on my end or not. So, well,
I
you
don't
know,
know. Um,
technical issues tonight, and that's the fun of it too.
no. You were saying about the going back to do the whole line. Like, it was never my intent when I got into this to go back and collect all of it, because I knew I came in late just last year. Um, and it wasn't really until the turn of the year that I started to learn how the system worked, how the pre-orders worked, and like all of that. So like even a year into it, I'm still learning how the whole process works. But yeah, I went back and picked a couple older ones that I really wanted, and then I learned some things might get a version 2 update, like Artemis and Baron Voliger getting their version 2s, and the 2-pack from the game Kickstarter and everything. Um, but yeah, it'd be like I would love to have a completist, just because I think all the characters are at least the characters completist. They're really cool, but I'm happy to just get what I can going forward at this point.
Yeah, and I think that's realistic. It's so hard to go backwards. I did, and I still don't have the collection. I'm still 10 figures and a weapon pack away, and
Oh
I might
wow.
be light years away. You know what I'm saying? Because those 10 figures aren't easy to get. And I really I have my limit to what I'm going to spend too. So because of that, it will be hard for me to finish that.
Yeah, yeah, uh, yeah.
Now,
I'm.
next
Go ahead.
question: PowerCon.
Mhm.
PowerCon. What do you think of PowerCon?
I'd never been before. Um, I mainly went because Brian Almeida, like we had talked about going to what was it, the Shop the Curiosity in the spring, and I wasn't able to go with him then. And I said, next time you go to something, let me know. And then he hit me up a couple weeks before the show. He's like, hey, I really want to go out there. Um, and he then later said, that he built the Dio and he would love to get to see it, in person at the show. And I'm like, dude, I would want to do the same thing if they had my Dio set up at their table. So he and Greg and I went out, and I mean, I went obviously for the legions and the members of the Cabal at the show to hang out with everybody. Um, I had a blast. Like, the con itself was really fun, but the legions aspect of it was even more fun.
It was. My sole purpose for going there is to hang out with all the people. I knew I probably wasn't going to find any figures I needed, and to hang out with the Horsemen, to hang out with Nate Barge, to hang out with the guys I met last year, Ish, Van, and the names can keep on going on. Greg uh, was phenomenal. But I got to tell you, to meet new guys in person, whether there are several people from Ohio and all that, but I tell you what, the highlight, two of the guys I met that were a highlight were you and Brian. So that was just so much fun. And
Yeah,
you guys came in. You didn't have much sleep, but you guys were there. You were excited, and I enjoyed spending time with you guys. It's a family, man. So it's an extended family, and I had a 3-day family reunion that I just had a
yeah.
blast. So, oh, and I
Oh
have
man,
something here.
I apologize if things are getting cranky on the connection. It keeps popping
Oh,
up that my connection is unstable, and I have no idea. My Wi-Fi is strong on every other device. My laptop's just being poopy.
can I tell you why?
Oh, Casper Bear.
Because I'm on your show. Okay, that that's why. I mean, that's the simple explanation, brother. But yeah, there's Scapu Bear that you made for me and gave to me at PowerCon, and he's actually on one of my center shelves, Legion shelf, with all my signed stuff. My Joe Viteri figure, my Mythic Legions comic book, signed by Nate Barch and the Horsemen, and my Sir Gerard that's signed. So yes,
Oh
I
wow.
hold that near and dear to my heart now. So he is well displayed, and I think Jess is gone. So I'm just going to keep on talking, guys. Uh, PowerCom was unbelievable. If you guys get a chance, go out to it next year. Now, Legions Con coming up is going to be just fantastic, and the people. I'm looking forward to meeting so many more people. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. Hey, Jess, you're back.
I'm back. I don't understand how this works.
I
It
don't,
kicked me out, but you were still going. So,
I'm still going, so I didn't miss a beat. I kept on talking, brother.
well, thank you. I don't understand what's going on, but my Wi-Fi like cut out and then it just completely blanked the screen. And uh, yeah, Brian's saying best time thus far this year for me was at PowerCon. Yeah, I'm looking forward to RetroCon next weekend. I know we'll get to that. I know you and Brad are going to be doing a thing.
Yeah.
But Curtis asked, who was collecting Legions first, you or Brad, and what led to the creation of the Legions lair?
Well, I was collecting Legions first. It's funny. Brad and I worked together back in the day. I was or I still am, a deputy sheriff, and he was a uh, corrections officer, basically, with the county. And he left and went to do other stuff. So we didn't talk to each other, I would say, probably on and off for maybe 10 years. And I was walking into a toy store, me and my girlfriend at the time, we were walking into a toy store, and Brad was walking in with us. And I'm like, what is going on, my man? So we started talking and we reconnected. We would talk every week then. And I tried to get him into Legions. I said, you got to do this. I all I collect is Legions, and he wouldn't jump on. He wouldn't jump on because he's GI Joe,
Yep.
big GI Joe fan, stuff like that. Uh, and I said, listen, I need you to help me out, okay? An in stock sale, the Wasteland and Siege in stock sale. I need to get all these figures, but Torgon's going to be hard to get. So I'm going to go for all the figures, but for Torgon, you get on there, snag me a Torgon, get yourself a Kronoff, get the heck out, and when you get Kronoff in the mail, tell me what you think. And he said, yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to do it, man. So not only did he get a Kronoff, he got a Purplor, and when he got them, he calls me back and he was like blown away. Well, I knew that we knew that was going to happen. So he was blown away, but he wasn't all in on the line. He was like, well, I'm going to get a few here and there. He got the PowerCon debut figures. This was 2020. He got the PowerCon debut figures. There was no PowerCon that year, so we ordered them online. And he got those figures in hand, and he was like, oh my God. He's like, oh my God. So I think at that point, it hit his mind that I'm all in on this. And he took the bull by the horns and he kicked ass. I still don't know how he did it because I don't know how you scrounge up that kind of dough. And,
Now
but
he finished the complete list just recently, right?
it's been more than recently. I think he's
Oh,
had
okay.
everything. I want to say everything since maybe late winter, last
Okay.
winter, last winter,
Okay.
probably February. I want to say. I could be
Okay.
wrong a month or two, but yeah, he got it. So what got us into the Legion's lair is we both went to. I told him I'm going to Legion's Con. I don't care what's going on. I'm going to intern for a day. I purchased it, and I told him what my plans are. And I said, "Listen, Brad," I said, "you will never get this chance again. A toy line that you love will let you go to their studio, check everything out. You get to meet them personally. You could never do that with Mattel. You could never do that with Penny. Not even come close to doing it with any of those. Hasbro, Lego. You could never do that. But here, with the toy line that we love, you can. You have to do it. So he purchased it. We went out together and the community just blew both of us away. I had in mind of starting a show that was an unofficial Legions cast, and and I wanted it to. I love the Dork Lair so much. I loved his reviews. Okay, Bill Jernowski, and
Hmm.
I knew early on that I wanted to call it the Legions Lair, uh, because Legions, I knew Cosmic was going to come out too, but the lair did come from the Dork Lair. I love that name so much. So the thing was when we decided to start the show, we already had another great show out called the Legions Lounge, and I we could never ever try to replicate what Trevor, what Bill, what they Nate, what they do on there. They're just phenomenal. And so we decided we wanted to focus on the fans, and it was a different type of show, and it's thrived and people enjoy it. So I do realize that people watch it for the comedy a lot of times, and that Brad is a stand-up comedian basically, so that helps. And not only is he a stand-up comedian, he is a legitimately good dude. I mean, good dude.
Yeah.
If you need something from him, if you need a figure, he will sell you a figure cheap. And he has it, and I'm like, Brad, what'd you do? I'm like, Brad, what'd you do? You could sell that thing for like $250. And I gave it to him for 100, and I'm like, God, you're a good dude. You're a good
I
dude,
mean,
man.
so are you. I mean, I'm gonna share this. I know I commented this on the Cabal recently, but like you knew that Thistlethorn was my favorite, and they happened to have a handful of them at PowerCon.
Yeah,
And I believe someone there said like that was it. This wasn't the missing 24. This was just the last case that the studio had.
yeah.
At least that was my understanding. I don't. That's not official Four Horsemen dialogue. That's just the way I understood it. And I was tempted to get one, but you know, I was like, I'm gonna leave it for someone else. Like I have one. It was the first figure I got, and then I'm walking around. I bumped into you, and they're like, "Did you get one?" I was like, "No, I didn't." And then you just took it out of your box and just put it in mine, and I was like, "I've got it right here. It's right between my bed and my desk, so I like see it when I'm sitting at the desk."
Nice.
And I'm bringing it to Legion's Con, and I'm going to get you and all the guys to sign it. So that'll be my.
I'm
I
honored.
don't have any other Legions in box, but I have him in box. So
Yeah, it's talking about that. It's one of those things where I have the figure. I just picked it up because it's an older figure, and I was just going to put it back in my collection and see what I would do with it later on, or possibly sell it later on, because we all know these figures go up in price,
sure.
stuff like that. But with you, that figure would have no better home than on your shelf. There's another guy in the community, Adam Drake, who's up in Canada. He would have a good home with Adam, but I wanted you. If I could have got two, honestly, if I could have got two Thistlethorns, Adam Drake would have got one in the mail because I know he wanted an in-package one too. But I couldn't. We only could get one, and I was happy, more than happy, to see it go to a wonderful home, and that's with you,
Oh,
my friend.
thank you. Now I have the bug to try to find a test shot of him.
Mm. Well, I tell you what, I'll give you a little information. There's a guy in the community called the Rod Father. I think we all know him, Rodney,
Yep.
and he can find anything. He really can, and he's big on test shots. Uh, Not only can he find anything, but he will sell it back to you for what he buys it for. No questions asked. I mean, you can trust him, and he is just a wonderful dude. But once again, most everybody in this community, you could just talk all day about, man. They are just
Absolutely.
legitimate good people.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I I didn't start this show specifically to be only about legions, but I like talking about it so the more people from the community I can talk about it. And I try not to run down the same road you guys do in Legion's Lair, so it's not like the same info, but
But if you do,
uh
we're all just having fun here.
well,
It,
yeah, and that's like I try to
yeah,
get some of my friends or people I know from different things that collect or into other things and kind of spread the love around and try to get them into legions. Like I've got one more brother. I'm debating if I'm going to get one for my sister, but one more brother to get a legion for, and I know what I want to get if it's available at RetroCon. If not, it'll be Legions Con. And then I want to have all four of my brothers do a show with me where they all have their legions figures. So
that is awesome, man. That is
um, so my oldest brother, he does like medieval reenactment, and he's a history professor at the college I went to in Missouri. So I got him a Templar.
mm,
Um, Next brother, I got a Black Knight because he loves Darth Vader. So like the black and the red, I'm like, all right, and he's the cool brother. Um, I could make some sort of comment about making sure my oldest brother Gene doesn't see this, but he'll probably never watch this. And then Joe, the youngest brother before me, I know exactly what I'm getting him, but yeah, I got to see if it's available at Retro or Legions Con. So,
nice.
um, so yeah, yeah. So and it was great having my mom on here, but yeah, I just like talking about stuff. And now doing the Mythic Minute, taking that into the Cabal in there. So that one's going to be a little harder to come up with stuff, but fortunately it's short, so I don't have to think too hard about it.
Yeah. Well, and I love it, man. So keep on rolling with that. It's in the cabal. It's wonderful. I enjoy it. So Thursday
Awesome.
night,
Thank you.
man. Thursday night. Yep.
Uh, Douglas is asking, is that a Death Star behind Mike? And I believe that is up next to the Ewok Village.
It is. It is. Good Lord. Let's see if I can do this. Cam, do I hit the camera button? And does it switch it? Oh boy, I didn't want to do that.
Nope.
I did not want to do that. Oh my God. I have an ancient phone, but let's see what I can do here, man. So
All right.
I don't. Yeah, right there. That is a Death
Yep.
Star. So that is vintage. Uh, this is vintage Star Wars here, and I'm sorry, sorry, I can't turn it around for you guys.
That's okay.
I'm a little inept. And then, of course, this is Motu over here.
Very nice.
Kind of a sense for that. And then we got Transformers over here. So, yeah. But yeah, that is a Death
Awesome.
Star. We have.
Oh,
Oh,
I hit the
hey,
wrong button. Sorry.
that was a
Sorry.
power shot. You can put that.
No.
Yeah. Oh, too late. Or too early for that. Yeah, what I did with my vintage Star Wars is there would be deputies at work who their moms wanted their stuff out of their house, and they're like, "What am I going to do this with all this stuff?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'll give you $50 for your whole collection." As a little kid, And that's how I put the Death Star together by different people's collections, the Millennium
Oh
Falcon
wow,
together, the Ewok, stuff like that. A lot of the play sets
awesome.
put together by getting other people's collections cheap because their moms wanted to throw them out.
I recently had an Ewok Village. It was not complete. It was just the tree stumps and the base, the platform. Like it didn't have any of the accessories, none of the pieces that plugged in. I found it for like $20 at this one toy store at this one farmer's market I go to. Really cool place. If you ever come to central Pennsylvania on a weekend, we have to go out there. He doesn't have
Which,
any legions, but
which I do want to get out because I want you and I to go on a little adventure to Centralia. Am
oh
I
right,
pronouncing
right, right,
it
right.
right? Centralia,
Yep,
that
yep,
abandoned coal mine uh, village in
yep.
Pennsylvania. I want to go see that big time. So
Definitely need to go once the weather has started to get colder. I went with a friend a couple years ago in like early September, and it was like way too hot, and it just
gotcha,
had no effect.
gotcha.
But yeah, yeah, come out. It's about an hour, I think, or so away from me, give or take.
Nice. We'll have to make that happen, man.
All right. Yeah, anytime. You're welcome. Um, but we, yeah, Brian said you had me at Silent Hill. Brian, when he came here, I don't think they got to hear it, but I live directly across from like an old fashioned fire department.
Okay.
So it's the one garage door, the second floor, and when the siren goes off, any of my friends that have come over here have been here for that. They're like, they just get this look on their face. I'm like, what's wrong with you? And they're like, have you never played Silent Hill? I said, no. So I know what it is now, but I guess it sounds like the alarm that goes off in Silent Hill,
Oh,
in the
gotcha.
fog or whatever, and it just freaks him out. I'm so used to it now. I've been here almost 10 years. Um, but yeah, so between that and going up to Centralia, yeah, like it's on my radar.
Nice.
But so I found the Ewok Village for like $20. Wasn't complete, clean it up, and I was just going to use it. I had my Star Wars Endor pops on it for a long time. Then I went to another toy store that's really close called Retro and Rad, and it's only a couple years old. She had a complete um, Prince of Thieves, Robin Hood, Sherwood Forest playset, which is essentially the same playset, slightly different colors, but it's got like the tree branches on it. So I traded that piece in and some other stuff, and I picked that up, and it is now the centerpiece of my Zylona's flock shelf.
Nice. Nice. That's awesome,
Eventually,
man.
I'll paint it to look less playset-y, and try to make it a little more realistic looking. But yeah,
I tell you what, oh, the Ewok Village, is it in? Do I have it in? I don't know if I have.
it's
I
right
think.
behind your head.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well,
Yep.
the Ewok Village looks like it would be a really cool place that painted up for a whole company of Buzzmonks. And I think I know someone who has them.
That's they're currently on the shelf right below them because I haven't gotten on the ladder. I've got some plans with the rearranging I've done this weekend to move some stuff around and give the flock, since they're kind of my main faction, more space. But yeah, the fuzz monks are going to be populating that village.
Right? I've got to, before we go on, I've got to bring a buddy of mine on.
Oh, there he is.
Bring a buddy of mine on. And this is no secret. This is my favorite figure in the line. This is Scapular, the Crypt
Crypt
Breaker.
Breaker.
And that's where my pseudo name, Caspilar the Heartbreaker, comes from. So,
I've not gotten to read through the comic yet, but I have looked through it, and I know I've heard people talk about it. He
yeah,
and Artemis share a pretty intense moment in that comic.
Yeah, he's a little Mac Daddy. Uh, yeah, he's and when I wrote my story, Red Star Rising, I took his. I read that comic book. I can't tell you how many times, and I tried to honor what the Horseman wanted his demeanor to be like. Very sarcastic, almost like a Deadpool type character, but then he could be
Okay.
serious on any split moment. So I tried to honor that when I wrote that story.
I read that's another I want to get into that with you writing. I read I think one of the most recent ones you posted where I can't remember who it was. Someone's running away and they get the arrow and they're like leaning against the tree when he comes up to them.
Yeah, that's Red Star Rising. This
Okay.
origin story for Scapular. That's chapter one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I how many chapters do you have?
There's 13 in that story. It's I just
Okay.
write the short stories. Yeah,
Okay.
13 chapters.
Um are they all available to read? Because I definitely want to read the rest of that. Or are
Red
you
Star Rising is I'm still working on the end of Fall of the Mercurians, but Red
okay?
Star Rising you can get on the files on the Cabal and pull it right up.
Okay.
I even
Okay.
took those of Scapular, and my son helped me put it together with the writing. Um,
Oh, very cool.
it's kind of it's like three photos with it, but it's kind of fun. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not Nate or Trevor. I wish I could be. I will never come close to ever having their talent, so I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, they do amazing work. And I'm not saying the photos don't do the figures justice. It gets said a lot, but there's something different. There's just something different to the photos and the toys in your hand.
It is, and I'd like to um, switch that around. The photos do the figures justice. In fact,
Yes.
Trevor's photos are absolutely phenomenal, and they do the figures all kinds of justice. But
Well,
here's the caveat: until you get a figure in your hand, when you get that figure in your hand, they are so amazing that you forget about the photos, and that figure in your hand awes you so much that that's why people say the photos don't do it justice. That's the only reason,
well,
because those photos most certainly do those
well.
figures justice.
For me, I feel like the photos make them. They don't look like toys anymore.
Well, and that's a testament to Nate and Trevor's
Yeah.
ability. Uh, and if you watch any one of Trevor's videos, it's what his setup and what you have to know it with the lighting is unbelievable. Even using the back screens, that's a television screen, you have to
Hmm.
know how to filter that light right in order to get, and it's just phenomenal. I sit there and
Yeah.
look at Trevor and I'm like, you just don't learn that. You have to trial and error, years of practice for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think that's at least what clicked for me is the his both of their photos and a lot of the other people that do like the really nice, you know, atmospheric photos like the and again that's a testament to the toys and the photos that you see very little of the articulation. Some of these pictures when I've scrolled through I was like, wow, that's an awesome cosplay. I'm like, oh no, shoot, that's just a Legion figure in a really awesome composition.
Yeah.
And the way they get the atmosphere with like when they do like the fog or just like the dark lights coming out and then the hallway where they're almost silhouetted and stuff. It's amazing. And yeah, they're the photos are just a different element, a different level of things that the toys are. When you get the toy in your hand, you're like, oh, that's how that the picture happened. I don't know how to make the photo part happen, but I can see how they made the figure part of that photo happen.
Yeah.
But so how long? So you said you wanted to write conclusions to the mini comics because you like that original kind of like barbarian wasteland story in Motu, which my best friend Sean, he's the same way. Like, I don't think I ever read the mini comics as a kid. I can't remember if I got the toys first or the show first. I don't remember how the order was, but I was just a little guy, and so like that version of He-Man never isn't in my mind. But you and Sean both have that earlier version of him and the
And
world.
yeah, Sean and I recently purchased the Mondo He-Man, uh, and that He-Man right there reminds us, or at least me, so I know it's got to remind Sean of those 4 mini comics because it's very similar to the He-Man in those original 4 mini comics. I still to this day, Jesse, as a youth growing up, my fondest memories, and I can say this for a fact, was waiting for the school bus at the end of my street with my best friend. And he brought these mini comics up, and I was just blown away. We would sit there and read them. He got the Masters of the Universe figures, had these mini comics, and I was just blown away. And I came from a home background where we were very poor. So growing up, I didn't have many toys. If you got a toy for your birthday or Christmas, you won the lottery. What we would get is you would get clothing for the year, stuff like that, and we
Mm-hmm.
understood. Now, that's not to say that my parents didn't work hard to get us some toys, which they did,
Sure.
because I can remember for my birthday when Motu came out, I kept on talking about them. They got me the Skeletor, so I can remember that. But I remember trading Mike some old Empire Strikes Back cards for his those original mini comics, and I thought I
Oh
hit the
wow,
lottery. I thought I hit the lottery. I still have them on my shelf, those original ones.
that's
Uh,
awesome.
and I have that original Skeletor that my mom and dad bought me for my 9th birthday that year. Uh, and I remember my fondest memories were sitting at the bus stop and reading those comic books with him. And I remember Battle in the Clouds had Merman in it, and I fell in love with Merman. I was just like, this is the greatest character I've ever seen, and I just being immersed in that, reading this story where these people, these creatures just wanted to kill this guy, just wanted to kill this guy, and they could. He was just like them. The only thing that separated him was some gadgets that the sorceress, not the sorceress, but the God, I can't think, the goddess gave him to help protect
Hmm.
Castle Grayskull. That was the only difference. He wasn't some superhero like Filmation made him out to be. So it was
Okay.
one. I think I tangented off the subject, and I apologize for that.
No, 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 not at all. No, because like I love hearing that sort of stuff because those things, um, especially when you don't have a lot of those things, like those things make such an impression on you. And, I mean, so much to the point that you still have those original things you traded for all
Oh,
those
I have.
years ago. And that's really cool. I know my stepdad made me sell off all my He-Man stuff like when I was in high school because it was going to be my college fund. I think I got $50 for it was Castle Grayskull. It was dozens of figures, you
Yeah.
know, I mean, granted, I wasn't playing with them anymore at that time, but like I didn't want to get rid of them. And I think I got $50 for like an entire like wooden red wagon full of figures. And um but I still have the original Raphael Ninja Turtle that my brother Joe got because I didn't originally like Raph, but then he became my guy and I kind of took him for my brother so I could have the whole set. And I still have that like behind my TV, like on my shelf. So like certain things just connect. But you were saying I was asking about the storytelling.
Yeah.
and the writing, like how and you immerse yourself in those mini comics. Is that what led you to write? Have you
Yeah.
written like stuff your whole life, or is that a newer thing? Or
That was a newer thing. I started that maybe 5 years ago. Um, and I've done so much reading. I'm an avid reader. I've done a ton of reading, and I noticed that I developed a style for writing, and I'm decent at it. So I enjoy doing it. So that's how
cool.
that came about. Yeah.
I would say for me, I also like to write. And it was something I kind of rediscovered in high school. I remember in like fourth or fifth grade, we had a writer come to school, and they're like, if anybody thinks they would want to be a writer, raise your hand. I was like, okay, that sounds like fun. And they're like, all right, you're going to go with the writer to the library, and she's going to have like a talk with. So like half a dozen of us went and had this like one-on-one with this author that was at our school that day, and that always stuck with me. But one of the first things that really opened me up to storytelling, because I don't think I'm the most clever writer, with the turn of the frame. I get a few gems here and there, but I like telling stories. That's part of why I like doing this show, is like hearing people's stories about how they get into this stuff or what it means to them. And but do you remember the comic strip from the papers, Bloom County?
I do not. But
Okay,
the Bloom County was a comic strip, correct? Or
yeah,
no?
it was about a couple of kids and some animals that actually talked like
I
people.
do remember. I do.
There's the penguin. There was Bill the cat that always had his like tongue hanging out. It was a very 80s of its time, and but still oddly still very relevant. I fell in love with that comic. I didn't understand most of the humor in it, but I loved it. That was the thing for me at school. I remember a couple years I would, after my parents split up, I would go to this like after school program at my elementary school, and I would take one of those books with me. And my favorite thing to do, like you were saying with your friend on the bus, was either with a friend or on my own. We'd have those or Garfield, and we would just like put this blanket over a desk in the corner of the cafeteria, and it was like our little cave. And we'd go in there and we'd just laugh at the comic strips, and eventually that's where my storytelling started to come from and develop. But um, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, I enjoyed that first chapter, the Red Star Rising. So I'm definitely going to look up the rest of that.
Oh yeah,
And
it's all there for you. But the whole community, just in a whole, everything in this community, everybody in this community, in each individual that gets involved in the community, you're inspired to create. Everything inspires
yeah,
me to create. Everything you see on the Cabal, everything you see from people on other Facebook sites or in on the shows. What
hmm
we'll show today, hopefully that helps inspire people to create. But it's just a community that's just so rich with these wonderful artists that it inspires you, and you want to
yeah,
create something. You want that.
yeah. I talked before on the show with some people, like customizing. I got into because I made a couple Marvel Legends, or I was trying to make some Star Wars characters I wanted. But getting into this, and I think that's what you're saying. Part of what you're saying here is like this brought back a version of like play and imagination. Now I've written and told stories, but like having something physically in my hand, um, that I hadn't experienced since I was a kid, playing with like those original He-Man toys or Transformers or whatever I had. Like I was in that world, but I was making my own stories with those characters. Now with these, I mean, there are their own stories, and like that's helping. But like getting to customize and make characters to inject into that, and it's just so much fun that yeah, it's great. Jacob saying, awesome story, Mike. Great memories connect us all in this hobby. Now we get to make new ones. And that's 100% between. I mean, just think about that. 6 months ago, I didn't know you. Maybe I did. Maybe it might have been one of the first times I caught Legion's Lair. I think. And in that 6 months, I've talked to you. I was on the show with you guys, met you at PowerCon. We're going to hang out at Legions Con. It's just, you know, and it's same with like Curtis and some of the other guys in this chat that I've done trades with. It's just so crazy how, I know we keep going back to how it's connecting and positive and you know, it's just, it's been really good. And
Yeah.
I know we talked a lot of other guests. We've talked about like mental health stuff and how this helps with like anxiety and different things like with through the creativity and, you know, finding this group that's so positive and so encouraging and reinforcing like good things. Like it's helping people like come out of that and dive in more. And I think that's really cool. So that said, I'll bring in some pictures here.
Nice.
So yeah, this was go ahead.
That's PowerCon. That actually, we have Brian Almeida off to the side and Greg off to the other side. But in order for me to fit the picture on my phone to send it to you, I had to expand it, and all it did was give us on there. So I
Okay.
Brian and Greg got it, but unfortunately, otherwise I would have just had black edges and stuff like that, and where I screenshotted it, the other stuff. So
Well,
that's
sorry,
PowerPoint.
Brian and Greg. That's just a me and Mike shot. Walter, what's up? Thanks for joining in.
Well,
All right. So yeah, this was Friday. This was the first day. Yeah, this is I don't know what point in the day this is, but by the end of that night, it was over 40 issues. 40 issues, 40 hours before I got to go to sleep that night.
yeah. Now I think you guys crashed pretty hard.
Yeah, we finally got to that dinner with Ish and all those guys at that barbecue place, and you guys, and riding those scooters back, man. I was at my limit of like new experiences for the day.
Nice.
I should have brought this up when you're talking about how you guys came up with Legion's Lair.
Yeah, that's the Legion's logo, and there's the host. There's my ugly mug. I look better.
And that's what I used.
I look
What's
better
that?
with beard, and I do have news. We have news that is coming out right now on your show. It has never been
Oh,
revealed before, so I'm going to drop this right now. That for 24 years working for my department, I had to shave. And come this November, or not November, this October, they're allowing beards for the first time in my career. So you will never see my face again. My ugly. You guys will not be subjected to my ugly face anymore. It will be covered with a beard come October. The beard I have now, I'm kind of illegal.
okay.
And I'm going to continue to grow it until they tell me what the hell's on your face. I don't think they will, since we're that close to having the policy go into effect.
Okay.
So yeah, I will. I look so much better with a beard, because when you cover something ugly up
Oh,
with hair,
Mike.
of course you look better. So I couldn't be any more thrilled, and I say that lightheartedly,
Sure.
but I do love having facial hair. So I'm more than excited.
Me too. I mean, I started growing mine when I was in college, and I've pretty much had varying versions of it for the past 20 something years. So, um, yeah, I can't imagine not having it.
Nice.
The hair I can give or take, but the beard has got to stay.
Nice.
Beard Brothers Unite. Bearded person, I support this.
So for
Thanks,
Legion,
guys.
I have a pretty good beard going.
Nice. All right, let's get back to these. Let's get back to these pictures. All right, so there's your boy.
There's my boy. It's
I,
not a Nate or Trevor picture, but I did the best I could, and I thought it came out okay.
no, I dig it. I love the stepping on the helmet. Um, Cullen, Cullen coming in with shots fired. Can you see that?
No, my
Hello,
phone.
pathetic. Says hello, pathetic beard man. I don't know if he's talking to me or you.
Both of us. But I think Cullen has a beard too.
He does.
Yes, we're bearded brothers.
Douglas, I only have a beard for two reasons. My wife loves it, and I'm lazy. I mean,
Now,
I'm not gonna lie. Being
great.
lazy is a big part of mine.
Those are great reasons.
I do sense a theme with some of your favorite characters, but you've already said you really like the skeleton, so like this is no surprise.
Yeah. Well, and that's Kelpis, and my son came up with that. My son has been helping me take some photos. We've been putting the Lego Optimus Prime together when he comes over. He
Oh,
comes over
nice.
once a week and sees me. Once again, he's moving in. But this shot here, he said, "Dad, let's put a light behind Castle Grayskull and see what it does. See how it shines through the door." And it came out
Yeah,
really, it came out really good.
I love the low angle. Like it just really makes him feel like imposing and everything, and just the way the light's coming through the door is really cool.
Yeah, yeah, I enjoyed that. Now this
And
is
now this is a custom, right?
yeah, this is my custom Skeletor. I knew getting into the line, I had to make a custom Skeletor because other than Merman, Skeletor is my favorite character ever. And when Sean Scarvana uh, made his art with Skeletor over Castle Grayskull, man, I was
Oh yeah,
pumped. That just looks so damn good. Uh,
yeah.
I just love the character. I love Skeletor, not the filmation Skeletor. We already know that, but I love Skeletor. So I knew I had to make the custom, and it came out pretty damn good. I was happy for it, and it will be at Legion's Con.
Very cool. No, that's great. I remember seeing you. Now, when did you get into the customizing? Was that pretty recent, like this
Well,
year, or have you been doing that for a while?
Jeremy Gerard at Legion's Con gave me a bunch of parts free last year. Brad and I a bunch of parts, and he said, "Man, just take these in practice." And I started up about February, so a couple months
Okay.
after Legion's Con, and once you throw some paint on, you realize that you know what it's intimidating at first, but then you realize I can do this. Now, once again, the stipulation here is I will never be a Nikki Nicole Chambers. I will I will never be an Eric Miller. I will never be a Noah Pratt, and the list can go on and on and on. But I can make a custom that you just saw, and up on my shelf, that custom just brings a wonderful smile to my face. This
Yeah.
custom here, it really does. So I just
I
couldn't be any more thrilled with it.
Oh, and that's one of the horseman stands, correct?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Those are
He'll.
pretty nice.
Yep. Yep. So I got him on the stand here. That just kind of helps stabilize him, even though he doesn't really need to be stabilized because he's a 1.0 figure.
Sure.
And they are pretty stable uh, on their own.
Well,
So
and you won't be Nikki Nicole, you won't be Eric Miller, but you're Mike Casper. You've got your own brand
yeah,
of what you bring to the Legions, and between the storytelling and the personality and with the show and everything and the soon to be beard and your customs and stuff, like it's like you said, everybody finds inspiration, or you can find inspiration in anything everybody posts, even and I don't mean this in a dismissive way, like just simple pop and swaps. Sometimes just moving a couple pieces around, it's like, I never would have thought of that. Like,
Yeah. And
yeah,
and
absolutely, Curtis. Customizing is not a competition; it's about the love of the hobby, and that's, I think, a huge part of the positivity of this group is everybody just like encourage each other on to do more stuff.
and Curtis is 110% right. It is. And I'll have stuff I'm not good at, stuff I'm good at, but there's people out there to encourage you to at least try the stuff you're intimidated on and you're not that good at, and you find out that, hey, I can do it, and little by little you grow. Uh,
Yeah,
what a community. Yeah.
absolutely. And here's this is your
Caspular.
Caspular, right?
Yeah, Caspular. This was a fun one because I actually have paint on every piece other than the lower malleus bones.
Okay,
Now, with that being said, it takes a lot of Black Knight pieces, and a lot of the Black Knight pieces, the only paint they have on them are the rivets,
okay,
red rivets. Uh, but there's actually quite a bit of paint on there. It'll be at Legion's Con too, and I think it
awesome.
came out phenomenal. We will have this figure with the bios I wrote for him and Bradamon. His Brad's figure. We'll have that at
Nice,
Legion's Con, and the bios are pretty fun too.
very cool. I look forward to seeing them in person. Now, this is the door to Castle Grayskull. Which version of the castle is this from? The original, or is this the classics?
This is the vintage. Yeah.
The vintage. Okay. And you repainted this, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fully,
That,
fully painted.
I think this was one of the first things I saw that I was able to clock that you had painted in the Cabal.
Yeah,
I
I was proud of it. Yeah.
that's great. And then next is the weapons rack.
Yeah, the weapons rack. They both came out pretty good. So
Yeah, I mean, you throw those Legions weapons right on there, and well, that's the Cabal book.
yeah, I painted
And
all that. I painted the weapon there, um, the handle, and the black rivets on it. So and this was all I was very new to painting at the time. So I was really happy with how everything was turning out.
yeah, I mean that looked great. I mean, they definitely look like they belong in the same world. So, well done.
Thank you.
Okay, we mentioned briefly earlier. You've got something coming up next week with Brad.
Yep.
So, with what you can share, I know I'm not asking for any inside secrets, but like, what can you tell us about this show and what you guys are doing?
Well, uh, basically, Christopher Olson, who runs Neotap, which is Northeast Ohio toys and collectibles community in Northeast Ohio here. He is one of the top guys who run it. I think there's several of them, and he fell in love with Legion so much he wanted the Horsemen to come out to this Cleveland show where they have a big presence at. And of course the Horsemen couldn't do that, and he they got back to him and said, we're thinking about putting these street teams together and all that. And he said, we would like to do a street team in Cleveland under the banner of the Legions League. So he got together with us, and here we are. But him and Jeremy Gerard are, I can't take any credit for this. It's Chris and Jeremy Gerard are the big brainchilds behind this street team, this particular street team. So of course I'm helping out. I'm gonna be there. Brad's gonna be there. Lauren's gonna be there. Chris is gonna be there. My son's gonna be there. So we have the coverage, and we're gonna sell Legion. We're gonna have a blast selling Legions figures at
Okay.
Four Horsemen studio prices. And the fun thing about it is there is such a hunger in Northeast Ohio for Mythic Legions right now. It isn't fun. And I think the Horsemen got a sense of that at PowerCon because that was Central Ohio. Ohio's like a hotbed right now, and it's only going to keep on growing, keep on growing. So
Nice.
I can't divulge what figures we will have there. I know at this point, but I can't divulge them because the studio wants us to run it like they would run it, and they don't
Sure.
want to say what figures they're going to have at shows because they don't want to disappoint anybody if they sell out of those particular figures fast.
Of
So
course. Of course.
it is at the Cleveland Gaming Classic, and it is at the IX Center in downtown Cleveland, in Cleveland. And it is Saturday the 24th. It's this Saturday coming up. And it is going to be odd hours, but it is going to be from noon to 10. So
Oh
I
wow.
got the odd hours for a con, but it is a half gaming con, half toy
Okay.
con.
Okay.
So, and it almost works out perfect for Mythic Legions because we have Mythic Legions tactics we can tell people about, and there's going to be a ton of
Right.
games there. And half the people are toy guys. We have the toy line there, Mythic Legions.
Nice.
So
Did
it's
you
worth definitely.
did you get to did you catch Legion's Lounge this week where they talked to the Great Hall Games guys?
I did every
Yeah.
second of it. Now I caught the first few minutes of it, and then I had to go back the next day and do a replay.
Yeah, I caught it on replay as well. The weeknight shows, except for Tuesday night, are hard for me to get to just between trying to catch up on stuff and work. But Tuesday night, I close the comic shop at 7, so I can just pop it on my phone and listen while I'm putting the new books out and everything. So um, I'm so glad we close at 7 now instead of 9 o'clock.
Nice.
A, I get to go home early, and B, I can listen to the show like as it's happening.
Yeah, I feel bad sometimes for the lounge. I never miss one. I always listen, but sometimes my Mondays are so hard at work, and I'm there 12 hours, and I have to turn around and go back for another 12. That man, sometimes I can't keep my eyes open, and I have to be up at like 4:30 in the morning
Oof.
to get rolling into work. And sometimes I'm just like, man, I gotta catch you guys on replay. I love you, but I can't catch you on replay.
Yeah. Yeah, fortunately, I can just pop my headphones in while I'm working, stretching canvases or whatever, and I can listen to that, on replay. That's how I listen to like Jeremy's show half the time because I work till 9:15, 9:30 at the comic shop Wednesday. So except for the night I was on your show at that point, and Jeremy's when I was on his, like they were, I was always like after the fact until we started closing at 7. So. At least on Tuesday. But yeah, it's a lot of great stuff. And now, I mean, Brian's been doing the like his stuff. I can't remember when I think was it the other Monday nights or the other, I don't know. It's alternating weeks, I think.
I think Brian and Greg are gonna do some shop stuff at Brian's house every other Tuesday.
Okay, so it's the weeks between
That
Legion's Lair.
yeah.
Um, and then Curtis has been doing the creator showroom or whatever it's. I can't remember what Curtis. What if you're still watching? What did we call that? Not we, you. In the Wolf Den, where the last two or three weekends, it's just been like an open thing for people to come in while they're working on custom stuff and just hang out and talk, and that's been fun. Brian, yep,
Oh,
Brian's doing every other Tuesday with Greg. Yeah. Cool. Well, the street team and setting up there sounds great. Obviously, understand you can't say what figures you have. So do you already have them? Like they're already in hand for you guys, or are you still waiting for them to arrive?
they are in Chris's hands, and he lives
Cool.
up in Cleveland. Yeah.
Okay. So will you be? Are you trying to run everything very, like you said, similar to the studio? So are you doing the same thing where first people in line are the first people at the table, no vendors before the show opens, kind of stuff? Is that
Yeah.
something you can control there?
Exactly. They want us to run it exactly like that, and we will. And if there's a big line, I will control the line. We will only allow one person up at the table at a time, pick out their figures, one of each figure each, if they so choose to do that. And then when they go to check out with whoever's checking us out, then I'll send another person up to the table.
Okay.
And it depends how big. We're anticipating early on a big line. So I'll run the line. Brad and Lauren will probably stock, or Michael will stock, and then Lauren will do the checkout, or
Okay.
Michael will do the checkout. I don't know. But my son will probably help me with the line. And that's our game plan. And we have to take it slow. And I hope people don't get frustrated and they're patient with us, because we have to get this right. Because if we
Yeah.
don't get this right, the horsemen won't come back. And we don't want that. We want it to go off without a hitch. And we want the horsemen to have a presence here, not only this year, but the years to come.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I know so Nate is doing one out in Salt Lake City, I think the same weekend.
Yep. And his, I think, is a 2-day or 3-day affair.
Oh,
So
that's right.
his starts a day early, and I think the Friday the 23rd, and I want to say it goes through Sunday, the 25th.
Okay.
And of course,
I know
you have to be at the big one, which
yeah.
is RetroCon during that time
Yep.
in film.
Yep. Yeah, right. What is it? Phoenixville or Oaks, Pennsylvania, right outside Philly. Sean and I are gonna head down Saturday morning, spend the night, come back. We'll, unless something comes up, we'll probably stay till the con closes and they kick us out, and come back so I can be in time. I need to leave by like 6:30 so I can get back and do next week's show, which got another great new guest for next week. So keep.
And I will be watching. And
So yeah, I'm looking for. I've never been to RetroCon. Anthony Houseel and Len have been really talking it up. They both seem to really love this convention, and I think it's the first time the Horsemen are going to be at this convention, if I read that correctly.
okay.
So sorry, I just went blank. Go ahead.
Did hear that they were going to limit their product possibly at this convention because of Legions Con being a month away. So
Okay.
So they want to bring a majority of their product for Legions Con, because that's Legions Con. So I do believe I heard that from Jeremy. Now, don't quote me on that, but you will have product there, but it won't be nearly like a Legions Con, but the month
Yeah.
after.
I know he said for ToyCon in October, which is only a couple of weeks, they were doing like that scratched and damaged sale. So the stuff they're bringing to that is going to be stuff that has like, like a bent antler or things that they didn't want to put in the boxes to so it's still going to be the same price,
Yeah.
at least that's what I caught from his show is they're still going to be the same price. But they're they're
But
doing that special just so that way they can have the big load for Legions Con. So I'm not sure what RetroCon will have, but anything they put out is good. So
oh yeah, without a doubt. And I do. We'll get into my uh, if you want to, you can put me on the hot seat today if you would like, and I'll tell you my favorite figures and my worst figures because I do have a new worst figure. Uh, and,
okay.
but we'll get to that when you're ready for that, and I can't wait to tell you about my new worst figure on the line. Even
Okay.
though we know the stipulation, any Legion figure is beautiful in hand.
Right. Let's see. Douglas is saying, won't they also be going to ToyCon? ToyCon New Jersey in October is the one that Jeremy said they're going to have the less than perfect figures at. The ones that when they were looking through, I don't remember exactly how he worded it, but for, I guess, quality control sake, they didn't put them in the orders to ship out. So he used the examples like if you got a bronze dwarf in the reinforcement and one of the antlers was like bent more than it should have been, they didn't put that in the box to ship out to somebody. So it seemed like what he said they were going to be doing. Now he didn't specifically say Bronzdorf was going to be there. He just said use that as an example for what the kind of damages were. So yeah, RetroCon. I guess I'll find out sometime Saturday what they have on the tables there. I know there was talk of if they got everything shipped out for Alithia or Deluxe Legion builders, there may be a chance that they would be at RetroCon. I don't know where they stand with those. I know the all-ins, I believe, were out or will all be out sometime this week, and for Alithia, I think they're still waiting on the all-ins and the ogre and accessory pack for the Deluxe Legion builders. So if they have Alithia there, that would be great because I did not get into pre-order any of those. I've got 3 on order at Big Bad. But I definitely want every figure in that wave.
I don't think you'll be disappointed because I think with
Yeah.
Alithia all being shipped out, I would think they would have it there. So,
and if they don't,
Legions
Con is fine. Yeah.
Absolutely, Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, Mike, are you ready for the hot seat?
Damn, turn up that temperature, baby.
All right, let's crank that up.
Got it at because it's getting a little steamy.
All right. From countdown from 3 to 1, from your least favorite or your least favorite in order. Least favorite Mythic Legions figures.
Okay, I'm gonna give you my top 5. How's that?
You do top 5 first, okay?
I'll give you my top 5. So number 5. Let's see here if I can. Yes, I got them. Number 5 is going to be Boreal. Boreal number
nice.
5, and I will tell you why Boreal is number 5. His head is ginormous. Now, I know Eric had to sculpt it that way because of the pauldrons. I realize that. But that head almost is so big, it would look perfect on an ogre scale figure. It really would. But yeah, Boreal, I'm not excited about the Hoog figures first and foremost, and that head puts him on the list for me. Now number 4, we're going to throw in the God Stag herself, Zylona. The figure is beautiful in hand. It's a gorgeous figure. It just doesn't do it for me. I'm not. Zylona's flock is probably my least favorite faction in the whole, all of Mythic Legions. And I don't know if it's her antlers; they're so big. If it's because she's so tall, deer head. I don't know what it is about her, but just doesn't speak to me at all. I love that I have one in my collection, and it is beautiful in hand. But she hits number 4. Number
Okay.
three, we have Regna Stormforger herself, the only female dwarf in Mythic Legions. And I got to tell you, beautiful figure, once again, beautiful figure in hand, but female dwarfs aren't that skinny, first off, and that's what's doing it for me. And there's
Okay.
double on her face either. So now, Mythic Legion female dwarfs might not have beards and all that, but I think that's why she makes number 3 on my list, because of her size and because she's clean shaven. Uh,
Okay.
Number 2, we all know what my number 1 least favorite figure in the line was, and now it's number 2. And can you say it for me? Because I can't even say her name.
Faustia.
Fausty. Oh, it hurts. No, beautiful figure, gorgeous figure. She's on my shelf with my Army of Leodicius red shield, and I have the helmet, the bucket helmet on her. I do not have the staff with her, and she is absolutely gorgeous that way. Uh, when you put the other head on, she looks like Little Red Riding Hood to me. And then when you put the big old ball staff in her hand, it doesn't do it for me. But the reason why I don't like Faustia or whatever is she's been in the last 2 All-Star waves, like Ragna Stormforger was the not in the last one, but she was in the 2 previous ones. And man, she doesn't have the street cred, as Brad would say. She doesn't deserve to be there, uh, in my book. Okay, there's so many more deserving figures than a figure that came out in Siege of Bjorngard, and that's why I don't like Faustia. And that's why she's number 2. Now, it might be a little petty on my part, but damn it, get out of the All-Star voting. get out of the voting, baby. Uh, number one is a brand
Okay.
new one, and it's going to shock people. Shock and awe here.
All
Are we
right. The
ready?
heat's on. Let's go.
Oh my God, I think I'm getting blisters. Uh, uh, my number 1 least favorite Legions figure is Alphareus the Centaur. I believe it's
Oh,
Alphareus, is it? The Centaur?
Apharius.
Alphareus, yes, yes. First off, I don't like centaurs. I knew when
Okay.
they got him out that I wasn't going to like him. I do like him, though, because he's a Legion's figure and he's beautiful in hand. But I knew that I wasn't going to connect with him. I almost didn't put him on my shelf, but I had room. So he's on there. I just don't care for him.
Okay.
I would have rather got another horse. I always thought centaurs were silly looking. Uh, with the horse body, you have a 4-legged horse body, and then you have a human body with 2 arms. That's just me, though. That's just, I know most of the community is just salivating over that figure, not me. But we like what we like. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I like centaurs. Like I like all mythological creatures. Like I like the flock. I like the critters. I like the creatures. I think there's something fun in there. But with centaurs, I think it's interesting because I think they're one of those things that came about like in mythology because I I know it's not the best movie, but the Rock movie, his version of Hercules, I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see that. I did see the Scorpion King, stuff like that.
Okay. Scorpion King's fun. The Hercules one was okay because it was kind of like deconstructing the myth. It was like him and like all of these great deeds he did, but like he's got a crew. Like he's got like basically a D&D crew. He's got like his smooth talker. They've got like his nephew is like his hype man, and then there's like the Atalanta is like the javelin archer. You know, she's like the war. Like so, he's got this crew. So they pull these jobs off together. But the nephew puts the spin on it that it's him. So that's how the legend of Hercules grew in the version of this movie.
Yeah.
They go to this land where it's said to be centaurs. And when they get there, you realize it looks like a centaur. And then the camera moves or the horse moves, and you realize it's just a guy on a horse, but they're so well trained that they're not using their arms to steer the horse. So it looks like in the sunlight, if you're looking straight on it, using this big armored guy, it looks like a man's torso on a horse. And I wonder if that's one of those things that you know someone's describing. Oh, and the centaur is this half man, half horse thing. Is really just a really well trained horseman that can maneuver the horse and fire the bow or whatever without holding on to the reins. You know, because at some point,
almost like an optical illusion.
Yeah, but like at some point, you know, not everybody was as trained at riding a horse as other places were. It wasn't as common, or you had to be really wealthy to have a horse. It's one of the things I learned from my brother doing his medieval history stuff is that, you know, knights weren't everyday soldiers. Like that when we think knights, like the full suit of armor and everything, like those were lords or like the son of lords or rich, wealthy people because the money it takes to upkeep that armor and the horse and the training and all that stuff. Regular guys that were going out into the front of the armies weren't wearing that kind of armor. You know, they were, if they had chainmail, they were lucky, you know. Now it's not everybody, all cultures, you know, but like in general, when we think knights, you know, you think Excalibur, those types of movies, you know, like all those guys were like big to do people, you know, and anyway, a horseman, you say, yes. See, I don't have a Faustia. I finally got a 2.0 female with the knight, like the fabric torso in Hadriana. And I really like that figure. I love the lion helmet that she has. I've seen Faustia, but I've never seen her out of a package.
The lion helmet is Hadriana.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I got her and Magnus at the same time. So I have her on a Lord of the Rings horse and him on Balius for the time being.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The two great figures, and that horse is fire. So beautiful.
Yeah. So with Alphareus the Centaur, do you have a second Balius where you could do like Jeremy did this weekend, swap the head onto him?
That's interesting. I do have a second Balius, and my buddy came over, Ryan Anthony. He came over yesterday just to kick around. And usually we do pop and swaps, just kick back, pop and swap some BS about Legions. And he wanted me to take my Alphareus. I took it apart. He had a Balius, and we did do that. And it looks really good. The paint match is just off, but it's close enough when you put that collar on that you really can't tell a difference.
Awesome.
So for people out there, you can do that, and it gives you different type of feet. You know, you got the feet on a so you'll have a different type of horse.
Yeah, I like that stockier look in the legs and the feet, where you know, almost like the Boreas that's going to come out with All Stars 5+, just in brown.
Yeah, Boreas. And you can call this one that you make with Balius and Alphareus, you can call it Balio. You got
There you
Boreas,
go.
Ballius, Balio. You'll be all set.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he was actually the the flock wave before I even knew what the flock was last year when I was looking at Big Bad Toy Store after I'd gotten Thistlethorn. Like I realized they were together, and I was drawn to that whole faction in that Alithia wave. So Artemis, Bardic, Krotos, Apharius, and the Moose, like those were all ones I really want. And I had this image in my head of a story I started to build because I had Thistlethorn, and then I eventually got a Shadow Equidron. I'm like, oh, okay, and this story is starting to play out. And then I had those guys in mind, and I just have this shot I want to do with Apharius whenever I get a chance to get him. Someone almost did the same pose in the Cabal the other day, and I was like, oh, cool. It's so close. Like, okay, so I think I can pull that pose off. And someone almost did, but it wasn't quite exactly the same. So I was just really excited to see that someone got something close to what I want to pull off with it. And I can't wait to get those guys in hand.
Oh yeah, man, and it just look at the creativity that
Yeah,
people create in us, and you and I create other creativity in other people. It's just
sure.
we could just go nonstop.
Yeah.
It's just so great.
Cullen threw this out there. Can you imagine a Faustia female centaur?
Faustia, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, that now, Colin, that would be one I would get because I'm collecting the collection, but that might be one that might sit off my shelf and packed away. I am
Yeah.
shocked. I will tell everybody I am absolutely shocked that they went in the direction they did, where they brought out another Boreas. When they brought out Boreas, I thought for sure we were going, if we got a horse, we were going to get a smaller type of horse where
Mm,
2.0 figures fit on that horse better. Uh, Almost like a Mythic Legions version of like a Lord of the Rings size horse.
sure.
Just scaled down just slightly for 2.0 figures, and we didn't get that. Now, doesn't mean that isn't coming down the line, but I thought they were going to do that by now, and it hasn't happened.
I could see them adapting a because I guess Apharius, is his torso technically in the brute scale, or is he
His,
a 1.0?
no, he is brute scale. And you mentioned that, but I thought they would make the smaller horse to make a centaur to have that 1.0 body because it'd probably fit a 1.0 body perfect. But
Oh,
and
right. Okay.
my thoughts are this was in 2020 before they brought Alithia out, and then we saw the centaur we had was with brute scale. But once again, doing it that way, you have a whole nother scale of figure, brute scale, and you're expanding the existing horse parts line. So I can, I mean, it's a solid move on their part.
Yeah,
But if I'm a betting man, they will come out with 2.0 sized horses, just
I think
slightly.
they will. Yeah, I think with I don't know the whole process, but the way I'm understanding it, it seems like it'd be easier to make a female brute scale body to fit the existing horse since the torso is essentially, or the body of the horse they've used is essentially the same on all of them. So it'd be easier to just replace the upper torso than have to retool the whole smaller horse. But I don't know all the details. But yeah, I'd love to see both. I'd love to see them bring out a brute scale female centaur that's like right in line with because I want to see some big chicks in the line, like ogre scale, brute scale, bigger, muscular, like She-Hulk chicks to excuse me, ladies.
I mean, we got it in Cosmic, but we
Right.
don't see any skin or anything, any muscles with Vorga. So I do believe they're going to use probably that body, maybe, or that size type of body, maybe for future female dwarves too. Hopefully, down the line.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember who did. I know Anthony has it, and some other people have the female dwarf torsos that I think are really cool. If you put the all helmeted Ragna head on that and had it paint her color scheme, how would you feel about that?
Yeah, that definitely be cool, because then you have the thicker
Mm-hmm.
women. Now, of course, there's going to be some thin women in dwarven culture that
Sure.
just don't get fed enough. They don't eat enough, or their genetics or whatever. But I would have to say the majority of them would be thicker, stout ladies who could put an ass whooping on some people.
Sure. Yeah, I don't disagree. I've got I want to get those torsos from Anthony, so I can make a couple more stockier brawl. I want to put some barbarian bare arms on one of them, and the rest of the dwarf body, like the lower legs and everything, and just make a real bruiser of a dwarf lady in mind.
Sweet.
Cullen saying Faustia Centaur street team confirmed. And Curtis is saying, I want to see big chicks is the second best quote he've heard all day after Steven on my wife is going to kill me this morning. Oh, man.
What did Steven say on my wife's gonna?
I don't, it's not appropriate for my show.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he really likes dogs. That's all I'll say.
Okay, gotcha.
No, he said something. It was one of those things where, like in a sentence, the punctuation can save lives. If you've ever seen that meme where it's like, let's eat, comma, grandma, and you take the comma out, let's eat, grandma.
Gotcha.
Like,
I got you.
The way he said it was kind of that kind of a thing. And it was hilarious.
Nice.
All right, Mike, we are rolling up almost on 2 hours here. Quick again, give a plug for the toy show next week and the Horseman Street Team, if you will.
Yeah, the toy show is going to be at the IX Center in Cleveland. It is called the Cleveland Gaming Classic, and it is going to be Saturday the 24th, this coming Saturday from noon to 10 o'clock at night. So it will be 10 hours. We will be selling Mythic Legions figures at show prices for anybody who wants to come out.
Okay. Cleveland Gaming Classic, 12 to 10 next Saturday, correct?
Yep. This coming Saturday.
This coming Saturday, yes. 6 days away. 10 to 2. Can people get tickets online, or is that an at the door thing? Do you know anything about that?
Not online, but yeah, you can get tickets at the door. I'm
Okay.
sure to their website, you could find that out pretty easy, whether you could purchase them ahead of time online. But I do know one thing: the Civic Center or the IX Center is absolutely massive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Anything else you want to mention before we start wrapping up here?
I can't think of anything other than thank you so much for having me on this show. I had an absolute blast. I could talk Legions all day with you, my
friend. Likewise. Thank you again. Thank you for joining me. This has been great. Yeah, and you survived the hot seat, I think.
I did. Do you want to go out with my top 5?
Yeah, let's do your top 5.
We will end the show with The top five. I'm back on the hot seat a little bit, but it's cooled down considerably. And my top five. Here we go. And this isn't going to surprise anybody, I don't think, seeing that I'm a skeleton and Mercurian fan. But
Can I make a guess?
Yes, you can. Number five.
Scapular, 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 and scapular.
Well, you would be right, but it's scapular, scapular, vetus, scapular, scapular.
Oh. Okay.
So at number five is Adamon. He is a barbarian, but come on, I love Masters of the Universe, so Adamon's gonna be in there. At number four, it's not gonna be hard to guess, is Adamon's evil counterpart, Keltis. Keltis is at number four. I love He-Man and Skeletor. And if you tell me He-Man and Skeletor are now Mythic Legions, you sold me. I am buying them. And if they were released today, I would be buying a lot of them. Number three. Let's fuse Mercurians and skeletons together, and what do we get? Thank you, Pixel Dan, for Pixis. Pixis will come in at number three. Number two, we already know my top two. So number two, Vetus, is going to come in at number two. And number one, the gem of the whole collection. Bio-wise, figure-wise, sculpt-wise, articulation-wise, everything. The Horsemen outdid themselves. When Eric Treadaway made Scapular, he broke the mold. He broke it. And they had to spend more money on making a new one, new tooling. The Scapular is by far my favorite. And when they come out with Scapular V2, version 2, they're going to be like, who the hell is this guy buying 1 million of these damn figures?
No, they'll know.
That would be Mike Casper. So, yeah, that's
excellent.
That's
okay, and we already know skeletons are your favorite race.
Yeah.
Even though technically they could be all the races. So, I mean, that's a way to catch them all in one go.
We're going to see that in the Necronominus wave coming.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for that. What is your favorite faction?
My favorite faction is between Necronominus and Sons of the Red Star.
Okay.
I have to give Necronominus the edge because there's nothing but skeletons in there.
It's all skeletons.
Yeah, all skeletons. But an Assassin's Guild and Mythic Legions, how can you not like that? Headed up by the man himself, Scapula. So I'll give the edge to Necronominus, and then right behind that is Sons of the Red Star.
Very cool. Since you're talking about skeletons, I did find this today at Dollar Tree in the Halloween section is a bag of bones that I'm going to paint up.
Oh, very cool.
To go in. So there's just, all these different little plastic bones in varying sizes and shapes. I thought these would be cool to put with, I don't know, the troll, like the stone troll or something, or I got some different critters with different things and stuff, or just have some bone decorations on a dio that is in my mind to make someday. But yeah, paint them up, put them more in the Mythic Legions colors. But yeah, $1.25 at Dollar Tree. So there's tons of great stuff to use.
I could see those scattered around a dungeon dio.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yes. I almost completely forgot to show those off. So, all right, Mike. Thank you very much for joining. If you hang on 1 second, I'm going to bump you out, wrap up, and then I'll close out with you. So don't go anywhere.
Nice. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for joining me.
Hold on one. I want to
Yeah.
thank everybody for spending time with us and listening to me ramble on one of my favorite hobbies. I appreciate it. I love all you guys out in the community. I love the horsemen, and I can't thank you enough.
Awesome.
And
All
stay
right,
safe.
hang on, Mike. Yes, I'll be right
And
with
I
you.
don't know if we lost Jet. Okay, cool.
Nope. Am I still here?
Okay.
All right, hang on, Mike. I'll be right back. Thank you, everybody, for joining tonight. Once again, Jesse Arnold here on Just Shelve It, shooting the shelf with Mike Casper, talking all about Mythic Legions. And there's so much good stuff in the past, but there is so much more good stuff to come for Mythic Legions. If you are watching this show and you are not a Mythic Legions fan, or you're thinking about it, I definitely encourage you to jump in the Facebook group, the Cabal. It's an awesome community. Definitely check that out. I cannot say enough great things about that. And just thank you all who watched and contributed in the live chat. Thank you, everyone who is watching this on repeat down the road, or just listening to it while you're doing other stuff. I just really appreciate you guys showing up, being here, and I hope that you'll have a great week. And I'll catch you next Sunday night. Special guest. I will be coming back from RetroCon, and I will try not to talk about it too much because my guest will not be there. Yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend, and I will catch you guys later. Have an awesome week. Stay safe, and as always, what's on your shelf?